All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Serj here with my co-host Shep, and today we've got a really exciting episode lined up for you.
Yeah, we're talking about Warhammer Online. Who would have thought, right? The fan-driven revival of the original Warhammer Online. It's a living, evolving world with developers and players shaping it in real time. Today's guest sits in a rare position, both a developer and a guild leader. That means they're building the game and watching those decisions come to life in real combat.
That's right. From modernizing PvE systems to expanding world building through voice acting to those intense AAO fights we've come to live for, this is a conversation that hits every layer of what makes RoR special.
All right, so whether you're here for some insight into order leadership, curious about where PvE is headed, or just for the love of the game, as much as we love the game, you're going to get something out of this one. Let's get into it. Ruby, welcome to the show.
Hey,
Yes,
what's
welcome.
up, everyone? Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Shep, I need you to take it down a notch. You're so excited.
I'm so excited.
I can't match that level of intensity. All right, guys,
I
let's
had
get
two
into
monster drinks before this.
it. Ruby, for those who may not know you yet, can you please give us your origin story into Return of Reckoning and how you ended up leading the Jempire?
Yeah, sure. So I had originally played Warhammer Online back when it first came out. I had some buddies I worked with that one of them, we had a friend that worked at EA and he was like, you got to play this upcoming game. It's going to be great. And I was like, oh, I don't like MMOs like this, man. I don't know. and and then I tried it. I played it with them and it was awesome and I loved it. And I didn't normally like PvP games back then either. And I was like, this PvP is really different and really fun. And I love the large scale aspect of it. And within like a month, they had both quit the game, but I stuck it out.
Your friends at EA?
Yeah, like the guys that I played with at work, and then their friend
Okay.
over at EA, they had all left. None of them were. It was just me, and so I was like,
Oh,
well,
man.
all right. And so many years later, when I saw, I think it was 2019 or so, I saw that there was this private server for Warhammer Online, and I went, oh my gosh, I don't normally play private servers, but I really love that game. Maybe I'll try it out again. And that was a good choice in hindsight. I'm very glad that I took a chance on
We are
playing
too.
RoR and meeting all these people. Yeah, like it was so much fun. So I played it for many years, even before ever becoming a developer. I was just a player at first, right, for the longest time. And the guild actually goes back a lot further in my timeline. I think the guild traces itself back to a non-MMO game called Phantasy Star Online.
Ooh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first online console RPGs ever made. It was for this kind of lesser known, but in my opinion, wonderful console called the Dreamcast, for those that might know about it. And that was where I started the guild. I think I was probably like 13 or 14 at the time, and I just knew that the guild that I had joined, to me, it was all this new world, new concept, and I joined this guild, and it was full of drama, and everyone was just talking about all sorts of stuff that didn't matter to me, and I thought I could probably do this better myself, and so I decided I would try. At the time, certainly the answer was probably no, I couldn't do it better myself, but I learned a lot over the years of leading it, and so the guild kind of has moved from game to game to game to game. Some people have stuck with us, through the community for decades at this point, and then so finally in Warhammer, I kind of brought the guild back when we came back in 2019.
Awesome. I'm glad you started talking about community here because those are our first topics we wanted to ask you some questions about. And one question I asked two of our other guests on this show, really curious, what separates an average guild from a great one? I guess not just in Return of Reckoning, but in all your experience of leading guilds.
Yeah, it's a good question. Probably for Return of Reckoning, maybe people are expecting, answers like, well, it's all about hard work or focus or like the determination or some answer like that for being successful.
You've watched our
But
previous podcasts.
I actually haven't.
Okay.
Because, so I
Rude.
legitimately don't know if anyone has said this. For me, it's nothing like that. None of those things honestly matter to me. Because I think the most important thing when you're in a guild is having fun playing the game that you're playing with the people that you are playing with. And I don't think anything
Agreed.
matters more than that.
Super agree.
You know, and because I have played this game, it's a PvP game, right? Where we play it mostly. Like, I played a lot of PvE games historically, like Guild Wars 2 and Rift, and Arcade was a PvP game, but I played that one for a while too. And in a lot of those games, in PvE games, it's all about you succeed or you fail. But even when you fail, sometimes you can have fun doing it, right? And especially in PvP games, someone has to die, someone has to lose. And so making sure that you're cool with, like, sometimes you get to eat, sometimes you're what gets eaten, and being okay with that mentally is really important. But if you're having fun, it doesn't matter. Like, you all laugh and you go right back in the fight. And I think that's really healthy. And to me, that's what really differentiates, like, a guild that people are having a good time with.
Solid answer. I completely agree. If I were in your shoes, that's my perspective as well. So as a guild leader, that leads us into our next question. What would you say is your biggest challenge?
Yeah. Time. It's definitely time. From the perspective of, when you're a new guild leader, when you're starting out, you have a lot to learn, right? You need to invest time to learn all the things you don't know and learn how to get better at doing what you're doing, how to be more successful, whatever you want to do. And then when you get there, it also becomes a matter of how much time do you have to dedicate to this game versus the rest of your life. And some of us are able to dedicate more time than others, and some people have a lot more going on in their real life, and so they just don't have as much. For me, that's always been my biggest challenge, is juggling the large amount of time that we kind of have on the dev side, that is needed on the dev side, versus getting to play the game, versus having a real life as well, trying to, like, balance all of those plates. I'd say that's the biggest challenge for sure.
I bet. I don't have any time, and I just play this game for a couple hours a day. That's
Yep.
it. And I just couldn't imagine leading a guild, being the dev for the game, and everything else you have going on in your life. That's just awesome. I'm glad it's not me.
Wow.
Talking about all that time you're spending, though, how do you manage burnout? And I guess not just for yourself, for your guild members too.
Yeah, this is a very important one. So I am very fortunate to have officers that I can rely on in the Jempire that are able to kind of step up and lead when I'm not around. I think we're doing this interview right now, and I think Order is heavily outnumbered. I saw 60% AO is the last call, and we have a guy that's not even an officer that I think is stepping up to lead as we're recording this.
Awesome.
So and so they have, like, probably 6 or 10 people over there with him right now, trying to fight the good fight.
Fight against GWU, actually. I think.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, we got a 5-star earlier today too. So.
Oh, congrats!
Those are always
You're missing
fun
the
to
good
see.
stuff.
Why are you wasting your time talking to us when you could be leaving that?
Jump right in, right? So, yeah, I think being able to take a break is really helpful when it comes to just fighting burnout in general. Because it's, especially with MMOs, it's quite rare you find people that can play the same game for like 5 or 6 years and not get burnt out of it. And especially a game that will push you and will stress you, as this game will certainly do on the PvP front, because some nights the fights are really outnumbered, are very difficult because of how that works. So for me, I was fortunate enough to be able to kind of walk away and take breaks and travel. And the travel for me was excellent. So I got to go, like, actually, touch grass for a little bit. Highly recommend. Great option. And that's what helps me the most, and I think a lot of the people that I play with.
Yeah. Smart. Touch grass. I try to do that every once in a while. With all of the different things that Shep and I are managing behind the scenes.
You mowed the grass the other day, didn't you?
Hey, I love mowing
Proud
grass.
of you, Serj.
I am. It's a good start. Yeah.
Not exactly touching it, but cutting it in half.
That's close enough.
I don't step foot on it. I cut it. All right. So you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but how do you balance the competitive side of play with keeping things fun for your guild members and yourself?
So for me, I'm a slightly competitive person.
Slightly.
I'll throw that. I am very slightly competitive. Maybe
Playing
a little
against
bit.
you, sir, I would say you're more than slightly competitive.
And it's, I guess it scales depending on like who I'm fighting, right? Like if it's someone that I like or someone that I know is pretty chill, I'll kind of like tone it down a little bit. But if it's someone that's been like trash talking a lot or that I know is like kind of full of themselves, I really enjoy beating those people because it just feels nice when you know that they're trash talking you or your people about how how bad you are, and you're like, oh no, look what happened. So for me,
Listen
when it comes
up.
to like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, listen up, Destro. Let's start talking nice about Ruby, and he'll
Yeah,
take it
start
easy
being
on
nice,
you.
baby. He'll go easier on you.
One of the things that I think helps a lot is like making sure that you are having fun. We talked about that, and then just kind of like finding a bit of balance of success in there too. So as a leader, if people join your warband and no one gets any renown, they're probably going to leave your warband, right? Unless you have like the charisma of a god, they're not going to want to follow you if you're getting 0 gains. Because we're a little bit selfish, right? As people, as humans, as players, when we're playing an RPG like this, we at least want to level up a little bit. We want some progression towards whatever we're working towards. Yeah. And so I think it's important that you at least give them some of that. You need to, even if you lose a fight, if you can get some kills in the fight, great. And if you're outnumbered and you get those kills, you have AO, so you get this big bonus multiplier, even better. And I think that's kind of a key thing, is especially for pug bands, like make sure you're getting some gains. Like don't just suicide into the same thing over and over. Like think of a new way to approach it, a new way to attack it. Usually really helps a lot.
Especially this weekend, guys. Double renown, double crest weekend. If you're watching this podcast as soon as it goes live, hop in there. Even if you have low AAO on your side, that just means it's more than double for you. Get that renown this weekend. It's gonna be good.
And crests.
And crests. Yep.
One crest
Yes,
will be
and
2.
crests.
So Serj confirmed can do math. I think that's
I'm good at things.
So Ruby, kind of finishing off talking about community and rolling into more game development questions. Has balance changes that you've been involved in ever forced you to rethink how your guild operates?
Maybe, but do you mind defining what you mean by balance changes in this I'm not really on the class balance team, but are you talking about other stuff? Like what comes to mind when you say that?
Just let's see. I don't quite know about.
Well, let's just take it like an overarching thing, right? You've been going through and talking, or you've been redoing a lot of the dungeons, right? You've been pushing for some changes to how RVR works, to be more balanced in the way that people approach doing RVR. There was just a recent patch in how rewards lockouts are. Instead of being locked to your faction,
Right.
you are now locked out from getting rewarded for 90 minutes from the time you engage in PvP. And then there's the most recent balance patches with the class changes and the balance changes to the stat itemization. Now, you may not be directly involved in all of those things, but you do know about them. So let's just take it as like a whole thing. Like you're part of the development team. So
Sure, yeah.
I guess how would you have you had to rethink from that perspective how you operate your guild based on any of these changes?
I mean, certainly for some things, and there were some things that kind of we would actually do as a guild that I kind of tried to bake into the game as offerings and motivation for the rest of the player base. The speedrun quests are actually a good example. We had like a guild, like an internal timer that was like the fastest times that we had for Gunbat, and we would always see if we could beat that to like how close could we get it to 30 minutes or below 30 minutes, right, to full run Gunbat. And we did that
speed
for
timer
like,
win?
Wow, yeah, right. We did it for like 6 months, and then I was talking with people, and there was, at the time, there were some differing opinions about whether the speedrun would be popular, but I really believed in it. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna build this thing. I'm gonna find a way to build this. And so we created the speed run. We added it in. We built all the rewards for it. We built all the currency you get for it. And that kind of ended up becoming a much bigger thing. We've expanded it to other dungeons. The rewards now, we have hard mode achievements like in Lost Vale. So it became a lot more than I ever expected it. But that all started because one night we were like, I wonder how quick we could like clear Gumbad with 4 DPS. And that was what began all of that.
So it's kind of the opposite. It's more
Right. Sometimes
how you play the game influences some of the changes that you want to implement, not the other way around.
It's definitely both. I wouldn't say it's always one way. So okay, another way that here's something that I wasn't necessarily involved in, but definitely influenced it. I think there's a lot of players that I fight against that will give me credit for restoring the keep defense mechanics, the keep upgrades, right? And they go, oh, that Rubi guy built all the keep upgrades for his guild, because Jempire is that guild we're very good at like using and utilizing those upgrades to try and fight while very outnumbered, or while the enemy team has significant advantage on kills in the lake, stuff like that. But I actually didn't build or touch any of it. It was built by another developer who was restoring the original Mythic stuff. Now this developer plays Destruction exclusively, but please do not tell anyone that, because we got to have the story like keeping its
well,
integrity
the
here,
secret's
so you can
out,
blame me.
sir.
Don't tell anyone. It was actually a Destro exclusive developer that rebuilt this stuff, and he put a lot of work into it to build it. But in that case, we look at it and we go, okay, let's use these things that are being built and let's try to maximize them to help with these crazy defenses or these crazy sieges that we're probably we should lose these, but maybe there's a chance we can win it, right? We're looking for that small chance to win it. So I'd say it's definitely both. Sometimes the things that we do like inspire us for ways to change the game. I'll bring up even in, I guess we'll spoil this. In the next patch, there is going to be a change to Chapter 22, and that change was brought up specifically by Serj in one of our focus groups, right? And so all the Destro players can go, oh, thank you, Serj, when they see that it's a little bit easier now to get back to Chapter 22. So sometimes we're listening to the play. So sometimes we're listening to the players directly and making changes, and then sometimes it's vice versa. So it's a good mix, I think.
That's really cool.
I can't take all the credit though. It was an idea that GWU has been talking about internally for a long time. I was just the voice that brought it to the attention of you guys, just because I have access to some secret channels that everybody knows about now. But yeah, I can't take all of the credit for that.
I'll throw out to you real quick so people don't think that it's like invite only. We are always looking for more people that have strong opinions and play the game a lot that might want to be involved in some of these focus groups. Like, I would love to get more people that really enjoy dungeons on the dungeon group. So if you're interested, you reach out anytime, or talk to Serj on Discord, or find me on the official Discord and just drop a line, because we are looking for more people. So it's not an invite or a close thing by any means to players.
Awesome. I will definitely keep plugging that for you in the future as well. But moving on to the PvE development side, you mentioned in past conversations that I've had with you that you want to modernize PvE, and I'd like to know what do you mean by modernize PvE? What does that mean in the context of Return of Reckoning? Okay,
very good question. All right, so a lot of old MMOs, we're talking like, WoW Classic era MMOs, right? And not WoW Classic as we know it now, but like the original. In that window of time, a lot of the MMO design back then was about fighting a boss, dying repeatedly, and kind of slowly just guessworking what it was that killed you. Because sometimes there's not a visual indicator of what happened, or there's nothing on the floor that warned you this was like an AoE effect. You just look at your combat log, you die, you look at your combat log, and maybe there's a hint in the combat log about what got you, and then you have to just like keep guessing until you stop dying. And this was like old progression where you'd really just grind away at it, because they wanted you to take hours or days or weeks or months progressing to finally clear things, because that was kind of the goal, was stretch it. I think we shifted a long ways in the opposite direction now. In more modern games, we see things that are much more bite-sized. Instead of like a 6-hour dungeon, we see like 30-minute dungeons or 30-minute experiences and raids. And so certainly from a time perspective, it has gone towards being a lot more accessible for people that don't have a lot of time to give, which is a lot of us as we get older, right? We don't have as much free time as we did when we were kids.
I'm eternal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And we'll have some more time when we get to the nursing home in the future, but we're not there yet, right? We're in that middle section.
All right.
So as we look at PvE, the big things for me are like, all right, make it faster. In most cases, if there's a 3-hour dungeon, how can we make that faster? Bastion Stair, good example. Recently, we go back to Bastion Stair. How do we make this faster? Let's give everybody movement speed bonuses. Let's make it so the bosses can die faster.
Speed boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Like,
They
it should
need to-
help.
They need to be available all the time. Just
we did put them in some of the other dungeons, but they're randomized, right? You have to. I think you have to buy them in some of the other dungeons.
Can we have a weekend in RVR where everyone gets double speed?
Okay. Oh dear. Oh no.
just mount speed all the time.
Mount speed all the time. Let's go.
Just zooming around.
Oh my god.
Listen, I would appreciate the sheer chaos that would come from that. The kiting classes would have the time of their lives.
Can't tell me it wouldn't be fun.
It would be pretty fun. Some of the other things that we do we are trying to make mechanics visually clear for you. One of Warhammer's problems for a long time is that if you didn't have your graphics turned up to maximum or to show all, you literally wouldn't see the visual effect for a mechanic that one-shot kills you, like one hit kills you.
Yep.
And I always thought that was so backwards and so weird. I was like, if this is important, you should always be able to see it. I'm not sure like why Mythic, allowed this loophole. And so that's an area that we've spent a lot of time going through and like changing it so you can always see this or that. We fixed maybe like 99% of those problems. We still have a couple puddles that try to be spicy, but for the most part now it's almost all fixed. And we do new things like announcing mechanics. So you'll get like chat on your screen, like it'll say, Larg drools hungrily eyeing so and so, and it's going to announce the player that the boss is targeting. And this is like a hint for you, like, oh, I need to swap my guard to this person. But then in the game, you'll also see a shield icon. So maybe if you don't speak English or read English, that's okay. You can see the shield icon, and that shield icon is universal. And so now we know, I'm a tank. I put my guard on that person. So we try to do this kind of combination of all of these things together to make it so that mechanics feel really intuitive, as opposed to just like a thing happens and the only way that you know is if you read a guide somewhere, which is not great in my opinion. So we do all this stuff.
You should still go and watch my guides. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Please, we do. There are great guides out there though, which I highly recommend. I think Serj has put a lot of them on the RR wiki at this point, so check them out. And then we add voice acting to kind of like wrap it up. That's been the last thing that we've been adding recently. We wanted it for years. We only got access to it a couple years ago with Dragonback Pass, that tier 1 dungeon. And we've been going back and adding that to a lot of the dungeons to make it so mechanic happens, you get a hint, you get a visual indicator, you get a text indicator, and the boss says something. And when the boss says this thing, it always means this mechanic's happening. So kind of wraps everything together really nicely. So that's what I describe as like modernizing a lot of our PvE in the game.
I love the voice.
You've done really good there. The voice, the visual effects, like in Bastion Stairs, the green lightning is what sticks out to me. Oh, it needs to be cleansed. I love visual cues rather than having to read my chat log or look at a mouse over my buff to see what happened or what's happening. Because I'm trying to pay attention to other things, right? Trying to hit all my buttons. So I think the modernization has gone a long ways, even in just the past year. It's been huge.
Yeah.
With some of these design changes in PvE, was there any hard decisions that you had to make that the community was possibly split on?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Good question.
The most recent one, I think everyone still remembers this one because this happened in the last year. Okay, so to set our story here, let's go back just a little bit in time. When I joined the server, it's 2019, it's 2020, and I play a dungeon called Gunbad. And I'm going through Gunbad. I'm level 40 at the time, I think. We're going through it. We get to the final boss of the left wing, And this boss eviscerates my group. Granted, most of the people had never played Warhammer before, but this boss, he has everything. He has a huge knockback. He has an aggro reset. He drops a green puddle that two shots you. He's got he's got the squig mechanic. So this boss on the left wing is like the hardest boss in the entire dungeon. Maybe one of the hardest bosses in all PvE content at that point in time. Crazy powerful. But then a lot of bosses in Gunbad were the same when they first came out. They all had these working mechanics. And as the years went on, a lot of refactors happened, code refactors, which means the code is being changed so that it works better, or it's cleaner, or it's nicer. However, when you refactor code, things break. This just happens. And so these mechanics start breaking along the way. One mechanic here, two mechanics there, another mechanic there. And before you know it, Gunbad is missing most of its mechanics because they're just broken because things have changed. And then we get to the ability rework, which happened a couple years ago. A few years ago. No, never mind. 3 years ago? 4 years ago? It's been longer than I thought. And when we shift into that, we're told every dungeon is going to have to be turned off because none of the boss mechanics are going to work. So we're going to have to turn off every dungeon, and we're going to have to rebuild every dungeon from scratch. And my heart just drops. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be rough. I don't want to buy invader gear. Oh no, it's so expensive. And so, because historically you had this choice of, do you level up your wards with RVR gear, which you have to spend your currency on, or do you save the currency and do PvE? And from a time investment, it was way better to do the PvE, so there was some motivation to do it. This was what would end up pushing me on the path of becoming the PvE guy. I never wanted. I really like RVR. That's my bread and butter. But I kind of became the PvE guy because nobody else was doing it, and I didn't want to see Bastion Stair stay closed for 3 years. So I just kind of started working on it.
Selfish
alone.
Reasons.
Well, it was very selfish. I really wanted Bastion Stair to not be closed. So
No, I'm glad.
So that's what started all that. And then, but Gunbad was broken too, right? And when we went back last year, we look at Gunbad, we go, listen, this used to be one of the hardest dungeons in the game. It doesn't need to be the hardest. But for the longest time, the mechanics have been broken. For years, they've been broken. Is there a way that we can relaunch Gunbad that doesn't upset the entire player base? And we thought about it, and we're like, no, I don't think there is. I think they're going to be mad, no matter what we do, actually. Because you can take difficulty down on a dungeon, and everyone goes, yay. But when you take difficulty up on a dungeon, everyone goes, no, this is, you know.
Right.
But this was a good, I think, lesson for us too, because we launched it and we tried a lot of stuff. There was a lot of new mechanics, a lot of changes. I think a lot of good stuff in there. But there were a couple bosses that were very difficult because of how they could randomize parts of their mechanics. Like if it picked the tank, then you were really in trouble. And so we had a lot of community feedback at the time. I think there was I forget how big the forum thread was, a significant thread at that point, about people going, Gunbad is way too difficult. And we had a couple options. We could ignore everybody and be like, nope, get good. Or we could go, all right, let's listen and see if we can find a middle ground here. And so we chose to listen, and we went back and we changed a lot of the mechanics, and we kind of redid most of the pain points that people had brought up. And I think ultimately that was the correct decision, I hope. We did make it easier, but I think we made it easier in a way that still feels fair and still feels challenging for people and still teaches them mechanics. But that was, I think, the best example of something recently that was a really tough decision, because we knew any change to Gunbad was going to make people angry. And so, but we had to do it. We had to have this progression path where the mechanics are getting a little bit harder and a little bit harder as you work your way from, Dragonback Pass all the way up to Lost Vale. So yeah, that's the long answer on that one.
Well, I may be a little bit biased in my opinion here because I'm the PvP guy, or a PvP guy. But I think that y'all nailed it with the Gunbad rework. And I know a lot of players that are not happy with, they can't just turn their brain off and easily just slide through Gunbad anymore. They actually have to pay attention to certain mechanics. But I personally think that mechanics make it more entertaining. So I'm on the well-received side of the community on that part. So yeah, I think y'all did a good job.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, we were kind of wondering too, because we hear a lot on the forums, we hear a lot on Discord, but you have to kind of be careful because echo chambers are very real, right? And so it's always possible that you have like the same 5 people echoing
Loudest
the same
minority.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. A vocal minority.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. Yeah, and you have to be careful sometimes because this just because 5 people are all saying the same thing in Discord doesn't mean it's what most people actually want. And so we have the ability to do polls though, and so we started to double check ourselves. We started doing these polls in the game, and it would be like anyone that has done even a little bit of Gunbad, we're going to send them a poll and we're going to ask them what they thought. And so that way, even if you failed the dungeon or if you couldn't even get to the end of it, you could still write into the poll and tell us like, I think it's too hard, I think it's too difficult. And we got the results from that back, and it was like really encouraging. I think I published some of those results for the players to see last year, but it was overall like very, very close to where we wanted it. The feedback was good, so we were overall pretty happy with it.
Awesome. I did receive some of those polls too, even for the Bastion Steer rework. So on that same line of thinking, what's one PvE change? It doesn't have to be one, but what's a PvE change or addition that you are most proud of that you think the players might not fully appreciate?
Oh man, this is a tough one. Okay, let's see.
Self-reflection time.
This is a tough one. We've made so many changes to PvE. So I think the voice acting comes to mind first, but I think it's kind of hit and miss. Like, because I think the people that hear it go, "Ooh, that's nice. That's pretty good." Like, wow, those are. We're very lucky to have some amazing volunteer talent. Just because like everything in the game that we do right on the dev side is completely volunteer. So that goes all the way to the voice actors as well, and they've donated their many voices for this. So when you hear the voice acting, you go, wow, that sounds pretty good. But when you have the sound turned off, you may not always notice it's even there or appreciate it. A lot of people play with the sound off.
What? Blasphemy. Turn your sound on.
I know, right?
Play with background music.
I mean, yeah, I definitely do play with background music because Warhammer doesn't really have a lot of it has some music, but it doesn't have a lot of like melodic music or a lot of songs. You'd be like, oh, that's the Song of Altdorf, or oh, that's the theme of the Inevitable City, right? Like you can't, it doesn't really, not a thing in this game. They went with a more like ambient approach, which is cool.
How can you hear your warband leader yelling at you because you're out of position if you have your music turned way up?
Is that something that happens to you a lot, Shep?
No.
Shep,
I'm always out of
Shep's
position.
always in the right position. He has positioning down. If anybody wants to learn how to position themselves, pay attention to Shep when he's healing.
Oh, thanks.
Me, on the other hand, I'm always in the wrong spot. But
unless
Shep,
he's tanking
what's your character
Gunbad.
name, by the way? Are you Sheposaurus in game? What
I
healer
am
should I be looking
Sheposaurus.
for? Okay, cool. Listen, no reason. I'm just curious.
I'm a solo squig roamer, so leave me alone.
You are. You were on a squid. I guess to loop it back, the other things that come to mind, I think that are really cool that the PvE team has pulled off was like building mechanics that we didn't even know if we could ever do them at one point. Chapter 22 had a lot of stuff that we were trying to rebuild it, and we thought, I don't actually know if we can, like, how do we do this? Because it didn't exist, and the hardest part of building a mechanic is when there's nothing for you to pull from and just go, we got to make it from scratch, right? And then once you make it once, you're good to go. You can use it forever. But a lot of the new mechanics that we came up with, Simon Says. Simon Says was one of the most wild. We didn't ever think we could do the Simon Says mechanic, but we really wanted to bring it in. And I realize it's probably some people like love it, and some people probably hate that one. But that one was a really tough one to build. So I'd say probably a lot of the mechanics and the hard mode achievements too is also a really big one that I think is really cool, and it's neat to have. A lot of players probably don't even realize Bastion Stare has hard modes. Gunbad has hard modes. You can get bonuses for doing them. I recommend doing it if you have a strong group. Sorry, that's more than one answer, but there you go. There's a few.
It's good.
No,
it's
that's
good.
great.
I love the hard modes, and the secret bosses that you added to the Bastion Stare.
Yeah,
Absolute
the collector.
blast.
Oh, spoilers. Sorry, spoilers. If you haven't fought the collector, fight the collector. Go spend at least one night fighting him. It's a fun fight. There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
You will die.
Some of the hard modes need to be improved, though. I really like the hard modes, but there's a few of them I'd like to see made actually hard. Like, look at the last boss in Gunbad. just spawns some extra slime. Is there any plans to rework some of the hard modes that are currently existing?
We could, if people want to see them harder. You're going to be very unpopular when word of this gets out. Should we ever change them? Really make this
I've been
Shep's
unpopular
fault.
for years.
Yeah, so
That-
some of the hard modes
that-
are not as hard as others. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Very true. And so a good example is the last boss. You're not talking about Solitex. You're talking about
Hard
Ard
Defeat.
Defeat, right?
Hard defeat.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think Solitex is pretty good. Like Solitex is pretty.
That's
tough
my
on hard
favorite
mode.
fight in the game.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite fights. I like it.
Even
a lot.
on hard mode, it's a very, very well designed fight.
I ended up two-manning the last half of that fight.
Oh, shut up.
once, and that was so much fun.
So for Ard Defeat, there is more than just those puddles. But it's a DPS race, and I think the reason that you probably haven't noticed it is because when people do Gumbad, they tend to go DPS heavy in Gumbad,
You're right.
which means that anything that's like a DPS race is less noticeable because you have enough DPS anyway to just blitz it. That's probably what it is. The two buttons actually get destroyed in the hard mode version. They get destroyed early on, so you can. And the
Yeah,
buttons when you push them
I've
make
seen
the
that.
enrage disappear, right? Yeah. So at the end, you have to do. I think you have to burn it from 40% to dead within like a minute. I think is the timer, which is pretty forgiving, but it
that's
is
generous.
also Gumbad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if you were on level 36 characters, and you only have 2 DPS, right, or 3 DPS, maybe a little more spicy. But you're probably right. It's probably still very forgiving in that sense.
So we need to test this on level 36 characters. Or
Yeah.
6 Black
Okay.
Orcs.
Ready. T-Pads is ready.
I don't
So-
know. Can you do enough healing on 6 Black Orcs?
I mean, one Black Orc can do about 1 million
We'll have to test
healing
it.
over the course of an entire Gunbad, but the buff doesn't stack, but still.
That's unfortunate.
Have you guys ever done a 6 Black Orc?
No,
Gunbad?
but I've
Because
been
I'm really
wanting
curious
to.
to see.
I've been
I wanna see if you
wanting
can do
to.
it
We've
now.
talked about it.
I
Trying it out.
talk about it all the time, but nobody wants to do it with me.
So
I think it's a
anyone
great
who's
idea.
played Return to Reckoning for a decent amount of time can tell you there's an obvious tension between, primarily RVR players wanting the game to stay RVR focused and PvE players hoping the game gets updated for more PvE content and gearing options, which is happening now. How do you balance staying true to the original game versus improving it? Or are you not really worried about that because you're not part of the RVR team?
It's a good question. So I'm currently not on the RVR team, but I was for a little while and was kind of involved in helping push and concept some of the random event ideas and the stuff like that, which I'm very excited to see King of the Hill when it finally gets fixed and pops. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Nice.
I think it's going to be super fun, I hope. And if not, we'll keep fixing it till it is fun. But I think it's got a cool skeleton to it. So to answer your question here about how do you handle the tension between RVR players wanting one thing and PvE wanting another, right? The players for both sides. I think this is just everyone just wants to see new content and attention to the parts of the game that they enjoy, right? And that makes total sense. So-
Rude.
Oh, sorry about that, sir. I think the thing that is key here is noting that the game, a lot of us play it for the RVR. The RVR is amazing in my opinion. It's very well built. I've never played another game with RVR or large scale battles that I've enjoyed nearly as much as Return of Reckoning. And probably you guys have, we've played a lot of games. I'm sure collectively we played many MMOs. There's a reason we stick around here. There's a reason that this one has kept us for so long because you just can't find this anywhere else.
It's me. Serj and I got married in ESO, and we still came back here.
Congratulations.
And we still came back here. Yep, we've played many games together, but we always come back to Return of Reckoning. It is our home.
Yep, and there's just something special about the RVR. But that said, it is important to note that a lot of the project is about trying to restore what Mythic had built, right? Because the original game is long dead. It's been 12 years, I think, at this point since the original game was shut down. And so a lot of the project is about like bringing back to life the content that the original game had, and then making it better in some ways. But bringing it back is like step one. And I think a lot of people forget that the original game was not just a PvP game. It was not just an RVR game. It had even more PvE content than we have right now, and we're still working to try to rebuild it. It had so much more. I think we're missing like 18 public quests. We're missing at least one more full dungeon. We're missing a giant world boss. Like Land of the Dead has so much stuff that we just haven't even gotten to yet to rebuild. So it's good to note this is a game that is a mixture of PvE and PvP together, and it was always intended to be that. That was clearly Mythic's vision for it. They just did a really good job with the RVR, and there was a lot that they could have, improved over time with the PvE. And so I look at that as an opportunity for our team to go in and go, okay, PvE needs to get lifted up. Let's do everything we can to lift it. Meanwhile, the RVR guys are focusing on, changes and adjustments there, the lockout stuff most recently. So that I think is kind of like the key thing here is, even if you want RVR changes, don't stress when you see PvE changes happening. Very often it's different people working on them. One of the things you can do to help, though, that would help if you want to see RVR changes is like learn how to code or learn how to contribute in some way and join the team. We are full of volunteers. We could always use more people that could donate their time and resources to help. Every change that I have ever wanted in this game, I have primarily, I'd say like 80% of them, I have just built myself. So like, don't
awesome.
think that just, you can't come in and actually make change happen if you're willing to put the time in and get other people on board with your visions and what you want to see.
So
Very awesome.
this wasn't discussed, and this question isn't on there, but I'd like to ask, did you teach
That's cool,
yourself
yeah.
how to code for this game?
I don't. Okay, I want to be humble here and say I don't really know how to code. All right, I can code at a basic level in Lua, but I look at some of the stuff that other people do and I go, "Woo, that is so far." I like my eyes just glaze over. I'm at the point that I can look at code and I can be like, "Oh, I see what it's doing. This is doing this. This is doing this. This is calling that, referencing that. Yeah, that makes sense to me." But I do a lot more on the design front these days, and I did the code initially for the bosses. Where was it? Crypts and Bile Route, I did all the Lua coding for that, and they have since gone back, and we have a guy now that he just focuses on coding, right? That's Emissary. He just does a lot of the coding, and that's kind of his niche. That's what he wants to do. So I will build the abilities. I'll come up with the dungeon design and the concept, and go, I want these mechanics, and then I'll go to Emissary. I'll go, you think you can build this? You think we can make this happen? And then we kind of like do all the work together until we finally get it there, or until we have to change it. So I wouldn't call myself a coder, but I would definitely say that I'm on the design side, and I code if I have to, where I can. But there are so much better coders on the team than me.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of hinted at it. I just wanted to throw that out there so everybody could hear that, you don't have to be this master codesmith. I know that's not the word for it, but if you want to impart change, just come on, guys, help out.
If you see a yellow iron breaker jumping around in RVR, that's likely Emissary. Just go ahead and punt him into your back lines and put him in the ground. Love you, Emissary.
Yeah.
Don't send him to your healers. Actually, don't put him near your healers. You will regret that. Be careful with that one. Send him away from the healers for sure.
Okay.
Oh, insider knowledge.
Tips.
Thank
Look,
you.
This is general life advice. Don't punt the enemy into your healers. I'll give this one out for free. All right. So generally,
I'm punting them right at Tally. Next White Lion, going to you, Tally.
I have heard that docs are tanks and they want a guard and a challenge. So I'm supposed to ask you about that.
If we could get a guard, a challenge, a taunt, I think we'd be all set.
Listen, we gave him a shield. I feel like we're 1 foot into
We're halfway
the
there
door already, right?
Might as well just go all the way.
We gotta watch out here. Yeah.
Well, I asked, so she can't say that I didn't. All right. So for real though, if you could snap your fingers right now and add one dream PvE feature, what would you add?
Okay, now this might not be what you expected when you say like PvE feature, but we've done most of the things that I was really wanting to do for a while. I wanted like hard mode achievements. We've added that. We've got support for that. I wanted speedruns. We've added that. We've got support for that. I wanted better dungeons. We've done most of that. the thing for me that I would really love to see, and it's not necessarily a dungeon thing, but it could be tied to it, guild halls. I would love to see
That
like
would be
instanced
cool.
guild halls someday where you could have this instance that you go into and it's it's permanent, and it could be a gold sink, so you could be spending money to upgrade and buy things in the hall. It could be an area
That's a great idea.
to have trophies, so maybe we would tie it to like the kill board. It would say, cool, your guild you got the most kills this month, here's a little trophy with the has the month and the year, and you can put that in the guild hall somewhere. Like, and maybe you do a lot of dungeon bosses, you kill a boss enough times as a guild, you get a little trophy for that boss. There could be all these little things that we do that it could be tied to PvP and to PvE. I would love it. By the way, I have no idea if any of this is even remotely possible, so please don't get excited about it.
You
This
heard
is
it
just
here
like-
first, guys. Coming
It's
soon,
happening.
2026 guild halls in
2
Return
weeks.
of Reckoning.
No, so
No,
Ruby, I
I'm
think some
kidding.
people already kind of do that without it being a thing. I was in Retribution when I first started on my Archmage, and
Blech.
at least like before they went out, Serj, get out, get out. Great guild leaders. Loved playing with them, but of course I got brought over to the dark side. But before some
One of
warbands,
us.
they would gather in a bar by the port in Altdorf. I forget what the bar is called. And they hung out and drank like some in-game brews before they got started for their
Nice.
drunk warbands, and that was awesome. It kind of reminded me of that time of like a guild.
Community
Guild hall.
created.
Yeah.
What are those called? Events. Community created events. We had a podcast about that.
We did. Ruby hasn't watched it though. 'cause
I
he doesn't
haven't.
love
I'm
us.
so sorry. If you send me a link and where you want me to listen, I will listen to it.
So I want to take a step back and go back to one of the other things you were talking about putting in. One thing that you were saying you didn't think many people appreciated was voice acting. You've been pushing for voice acting. We've seen a lot of voice acting recently, and I love it. But I'm wondering why is that so important for you, to you in this game?
I think that this also ties back to the previous question about like modernizing our game, right? I think almost every MMO that you play today, even non-MMOs, almost every game has voice acting just layered throughout, right? Even back when Warhammer came out, I mean, I think Skyrim wasn't far off, and it raised the bar entirely in terms of like the huge amount of dialogue and voice acting and cutscenes and things. I think it's really cool when you're playing a game and you're walking through an area and you hear characters talking, and they're not talking to you, they're talking to each other, they're just having a conversation. And if you listen, then maybe there's something in that conversation that gives you a hint as, maybe there's treasure nearby or a secret or a dungeon entrance or something. And they're telling you about this, but only if you pay attention enough. And I love the immersion that comes from voice acting in games when it's really like done well and when it's very well acted. I think it's huge. And so for me, that immersion is such a key part of it that I love seeing in other games. And I'm really hoping we can continue to push into Warhammer, just because it came out right on the cusp of that, right before that became a really huge thing. So that for me is why I think it's so fun to see and so enjoyable to listen to throughout the game.
And I can really hear the passion in the way that you were talking about this. It kind of leads directly into the next question I have for you. And we're just gonna hear more passion from Ruby right now, guys. Do you think immersion
Serj,
systems...
are you crying?
I am a little
Are you
bit.
crying?
Can you hear the tears? Can you hear the tears rolling down my face?
They taste so salty.
They should taste sweet, sir. Salty tears are a different thing. These are sweet tears.
Okay.
Do you think the immersion systems like voiceovers are actually changing how players are engaging with the PvE content?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we already talked about it a little bit, but the easiest example of this is mechanics. When a boss triggers a mechanic, and the creature or the boss involved says something that you can hear, you go, oh, I need to do this thing now because the mechanic's happening. So like every time I hear, it's one of the ladies in our guild. She helped us with some voice acting for Chip Fang in Gumbad, and so every time
Yes.
Chip Fang, I love
That's one of my favorite voice actings.
I love it. And so originally we had like 6 different things that Chip Fang would randomly say when Chip Fang would get hungry and would want would change aggro, and you like steal Chip Fang's food, and Chip Fang gets mad and comes back to you. But there was one take where Chip Fang, I think it's something like snacks, gimme.
Yeah.
And I lost it. I was like, we're just gonna use this one for every single time that Chip Fang moves. And
I love it.
It's so iconic.
Good.
Yeah. So for me, it's stuff like that. Oh, immediate. Like every time I hear gimme, I know, okay, I gotta steal the food if I'm the person doing Chip Fang, right? Or I need to stop AoE.
It's iconic at this point.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff like that I think could be really cool and has a big impact on how we play PvE content. And I think there's a lot to, it really is about the immersion for people that want to, for people that, enjoy role-playing or enjoy being in the world of Warhammer, because it is a very iconic, a very distinct world. It's a fantasy world, but and it has some comedic stuff to it sometimes, with like the greenskins in particular or with certain things, but it's a very dark world sometimes. And I do think that there's a lot of cool stuff you can do to bring that world to life, both the lighthearted times and also the kind of the more wild times with voice acting. And so that's one of the things we're actually working on now. I guess I can talk about it, but you may not see it for another 6 months to a year. We'll see. We're working on building some of this into the game right now with these conversations that we want to happen in the chapter camps. And so we're working on, here's your exclusive first time on this podcast. We'll talk about
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So
Give us
we
the
are
details.
we're working on creating these conversations that will occur in the starting chapter camps for each faction. I think right now we're starting with Empire Chaos. And so if you're just hanging out in these camps, or maybe as you're running through, every couple of minutes, a conversation between 2 characters will occur. And so like in the Empire camp in the chapter 1, you might hear the guard yelling at the people that are inside the hut. I think they have the plague. And so the guards are telling them to like stay in the hut. There's another conversation that can happen where a person's getting recruited, getting enlisted to the Griffin, I think the regiment for the army, and so they're talking about signing on and the history that's happened and why they're there. And they're these little things, and maybe some people won't even notice them as they run through, but for people that do care to listen, I think it adds a lot to kind of the world and the world building, right, and helps bring you into the story a lot more.
Dynamic conversations. Is this going to lead into dynamic events in the future?
I can't wait.
We're getting closer at that. I wouldn't. These are currently scripted conversations, so this will always be like this character talks to this character, and that character talks back to it. They're not really talking to you. You can just like listen to them. But we do have the ability to do that someday, if we keep at it. I think it's. I don't want to promise it though, because the amount of effort that goes into this stuff is huge. One of the things
some
we
of
are
those
trying to
voice lines we're super excited about, like thinking about other games, right? Still to this day, people meme on just dumb one-liner voice lines that they heard while leveling up. If you ever played WoW,
I took an arrow to a knee.
Yeah, that, or work type things. It's just, I think it adds so much, and I'm excited to see where the voice acting goes.
Yeah,
but I interrupted you. You're about to spill some more beans.
No, it's cool. Listen, but I agree wholeheartedly. I'm ready for the Warhammer voice memes that hopefully we can spot. Maybe we can attract more people to the game if the memes are good enough. We're doing something also. I think it's currently on the destruction side. When you get to their first chapter camp, I'm in the second camp. Sorry, where the people that are like the merchants that will give you like the crafting professions, they're all like arguing amongst themselves. This NPC walks up and is trying to figure out which crafting profession should I take, and so all of them are kind of like trying to one up the other NPC to be like, well, you should pick mine because I can do this, and the other person says, well, but I can do this. And so we're also trying to add this stuff that not only builds the world, but if you're a new player, it actually does teach you a little bit about what these NPCs are doing and what the crafting professions actually do. And so we're kind of like trying to like merge all of that in with the voice acting. So we're not only adding to the world, but teaching players at the same time a little bit.
I love it. I love the destro bias as well.
I was like, I don't know if I built that I might have not built that for the order side. We'll probably have a version of it somewhere on order. We'll try to mirror, I promise you. But
No, it's
yeah.
fine. It's fine.
So with all these changes coming and that you're helping with, have you ever disagreed with a change that you helped put together or implement?
On a daily basis, no.
Uh-oh.
all the time.
Hold on,
No,
let me
all the
grab my
time.
popcorn.
Yeah. This is an easy answer, and it shouldn't really surprise anyone. We disagree on things all the time, and I think that's very natural. It is. We are human beings. We are volunteers, and we all play the game in different ways, right? And so that means that we all have different viewpoints on things. It's very natural.
Nobody's ever disagreed with my point of view.
I'm always right, and everyone should always agree.
Right.
One of the best examples I can give you is that I work really closely with this guy called Ekalime. Ekalime is the guy that brought me out of the team. I was doing a lot of stuff on the wiki because I was so angry at how bad the wiki was and how there was no information for players. So I spent months like just updating the wiki and trying to make it better for players, and that's how I got kind of like recruited into the team. This guy called Ekalime finds me and he's like, hey, you ever thought about, why don't you write some quest stuff for me and let's see how it goes. And next thing you know, I'm building dungeons. But this guy, Ekalime, and I, oh man, we disagree. We will argue with each other for like 30 minutes at a time on a weekly basis, at least, often on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, Eka and I will always eventually come to a conclusion where we're like, okay, yep, that's a good compromise, or yes, you know what, that works after all. And so that's the best example I think I can give of like, oh yeah, we have a lot of disagreements, but sometimes you just got to try things. You got to see if they work. And yeah.
There's this video game called ESO. It sounds like you and Ekalime could get married in that game.
Oh no, I don't know. Is there some precedent here with you and Shep that I should know about?
Yeah, no, I'm just joking. Well, Shep and I do disagree on certain things, but it has not broken us up yet.
I mean, so we got married for the 10% experience bonus.
Oh, here we go.
Is that all it was? There was no love there at all, Shep?
Serj left instantly. Like the next day,
I came back to RoR. I was missing my Return of Reckoning.
And it is the better game. I played ESO for a month there, and I played it quite a bit, maybe a little bit more. But man, we talked about it in our last podcast. Something about the community of Return of Reckoning is it's something else. It's more tight-knit. Everyone's been playing for a long time. I love going up against the same people and seeing them come up with new strategies and RVR. Our LV speed runs are just a ton of fun because I like playing with the bestest group of people.
The best,
aside from Serj. And
it's
a good time. It's a good time.
even in RVR, when you're up against the people that you are mortal enemies with, it's still fun. It's still fun. Well, mortal, I mean, you're trying to kill each other. So.
No, I don't want to kill them. I want to bring them to Corn and let them bleed and heal and bleed again for eternity.
That's not dark.
Very in character.
Anyway, back to the topics that we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry for that. We digress.
No, you're good. So yes, short answer, yes. We disagree all the time on things, but we always either find an answer that we're happy with, or we go, okay, let's test it and see what happens, and then usually that's where we make changes or go, cool, it was a good call after all.
So you keep each other balanced. Love it.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can share with us? Any teasers that you can share that you might be excited about?
I mean, I just gave you one with the conversations, but I'll do one. Okay, we can do one more. Yes, we can do one more.
Well, so this is more in line with like, well, I guess conversations are world building, but like, is there, well, okay, go ahead.
The floor is open. Quit interrupting him, Serj.
Like, listen, if you want to spoil some things, go ahead. Sorry. So yeah, there's one I can kind of talk about because it's going into testing right now. And this is, if you've read our PvE roadmaps, you are already aware of this, but just to get on everyone's radars, we are making pretty good progress at this point on the tier 3 dungeons. And these
I have
dungeons are going to
heard.
be, yes, you may have heard. These dungeons are going to be for players around level 25 is going to be the starting point, and it's going to help fill the gap after Sewers and Sakellum at 16 and Gumbad at 36. And so now we're going to have this new dungeon in between that will also have like probably new armor set tied to it, so you can go there to get a ward if you want to instead of having to do PQs. So they'll just give you some more options. It's also going to have a lot of cool mechanics and like maybe even a new mechanic or two that we're going to be adding to these dungeons. I'm very excited for these. We are working on them right now. That's what I was doing right before we jumped in this call.
And we
Probably in the
appreciate
next 2 or 3 months. Yeah, you'll see more info on these in the next 2 or 3 months. I don't know exactly when they'll launch yet, but we're making very good progress. I'm very proud of the team for all the hard work they're putting in on them.
Exciting.
Since you said that there was this middle ground and people may not want to do PQs, is there going to be a good, like, experience gain from doing this? Because, PQs are a great way to get experience.
Yeah.
If I go in there with a bunch of level appropriate characters to do this dungeon over and over and over again, is it going to be comparable or better, or would I just be better off doing scenarios? You know what I mean? Like, could you speak to that, or
Yeah.
is it better if we just kind of let it play out?
Well, we haven't decided yet, because we can still adjust a lot of the experience payout based on either, because you get some from killing mobs, right, at a base level, or from killing champions and heroes, you get more. A lot of the experience that we're going to give in the dungeon is probably going to be quest based, which means it's very, very
Right.
easy for us to say, cool, that's not giving enough. Let's make it give more, or let's make it give less if we, think it's too much. So I think the question I have for you then is like, is this something you think players would want to get a lot of XP
Yes.
in the dungeon?
The reason
Yes.
I
Yes.
asked,
Hold on. I play a lot of MMOs, and my favorite way to level, absolute favorite way to
Dungeons.
level, dungeons with a group of players that I like to play with, friends that I
Right.
can hop in there with. If you don't have friends, random players, that's fine. But that's my favorite way to level. And I wish it was more efficient in this game. I would love to be able to just Dragon back pass, and then I could go to the next tier dungeon and the next tier dungeon and level up that way, just running dungeons, or even just a daily dungeon reward that gave a big chunk of XP. That's like, I got to log on and do my dungeon for each of my characters that I'm trying to level at the moment. I would love that.
Like the first
All right,
time you do it for the day, you get more experience,
Right,
like a
right.
daily quest or something. Well, so Ruby, the reason I asked is because, people know that I'm on I do some testing for the dungeon through PvE changes that are coming, and I've been asked multiple times by different people, are they going to be efficient? So I just wanted to ask simply if it's going to be a good way to level if I don't want to go do PQs over and over again, or if I don't want to run scenarios over and over again because scenarios for whatever reason aren't popping. And everybody knows that RVR is not the best way to level your combat or your career rank. It's a great way to get renown and get crests, but there are some better, more efficient ways to get career experience. So,
and even sometimes
it's
a day
just been
makes doing the RVR really difficult. Getting in a warband to go out there and level up. Some people maybe have hour or two a day, and they get on at a time where, say, a fort's going on. It's busy. They can't get in a warband to go level up a bit. So they're maybe stuck doing PQs if they don't want to do PQs. I think dungeons would be another, viable option where they could hop into with people if it was efficient.
Yeah, I like it. You don't have to sell me on it, guys. I'm game. I'm totally in favor of having just more options. Like, you can still do PQs if you want, right? But if you have a group of people that want to run the dungeon, then great, you could jump in and do it. It's something I'll bring up with the team when I go back and just say, all right. part of our discussion was, hey, could we have, in this case it'd probably be like a quest that we would do, maybe like a daily quest where you could complete the dungeon to get a bunch of XP, and that way we also make it optional. So if you don't want the XP, you don't have to take the quest, but if you do want it, you take it. Maybe you can do it once a day or once every few days or something, and then voila. I'd probably even daily. I think is a good idea. So that's something I'll discuss with the team, but I think it's a great idea. I like it.
Awesome. Imparting change. So
That's right.
you have mentioned in some previous conversations that I've had that you really, really like the AAO implementations and you like fighting against overwhelming odds and taking advantage of AAO. Some of the recent changes suggest that the team is leaning more into these underdog mechanics as well with the King of the Hill event and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to create more engaging fights, can you walk us through some of the thinking behind all of that and what makes these AAO moments more impactful?
Yeah, I can tell you for me personally, like what I really enjoy about it, I guess, which is kind of that, I think it's that feeling of knowing that you're super outnumbered, knowing that the odds are certainly against you, and finding some path to victory, like snatching victory from the jaws of defeat, I think is the term that comes to mind most. And that for me is super fun in this game. Like just really, really fun. Or even just close fights that are like when the fight goes on for 7 minutes and then finally one side, is victorious. Or in the past for me, it was like
That
a
always
city
feels
siege
good.
where, yeah, like a city siege.
You're at
where on
40%
stage 3
AAO and you're like stuck in a fort or just a keep, and you got all of the order banging on your door, and you're able to hold it for 10
Yeah,
minutes
and you stop
and
them.
close
Exactly.
that door. It's like, yes!
Exactly.
It's such an intense time.
Yeah, it's a really good feeling because you know that like strategically they certainly could have won. They had every opportunity to win, and you had to fight really hard to succeed. For me that's like the
I miss
biggest
Sin.
high for me in the game. Yeah. What's that?
We have an officer in our guild, Sin. He's really good at defense of keeps and forts. He's just not been
Oh, nice.
around recently, so
Come back, Sin.
come back, Sin.
You heard
We
they're
miss you.
asking for you. They need you.
You heard it here first.
That's right. You've been requested. That for me is the big thing. Is like I've enjoyed a whole bunch of the game in different ways and shapes and forms over the years, but in particular these days I mostly form up if like it's like, okay, we're really outnumbered again as usual. Well, we don't have any. No one's helping. like okay, all right, let's see what we can do. That for me is the most fun for sure.
So those underdog systems combined, like tied to AAO, where maybe you can get some additional experience, they would completely change the feel of a fight, where you're way outnumbered, so each kill you're getting more renown. What's your philosophy on rewarding outnumbered players without making it feel unfair? And how can you prevent the AAO from being exploited while still keeping it impactful?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One of the good things about AO is that it's always listening for the maximum population, right? So even though you get to keep the buff for a little bit, if like the enemy team rage quits, you get to keep the buff for just a little bit longer, but eventually it is going to go away, right? And if they all quit or they all log out, then you'll have apathy soon after. And so the system is kind of dynamic in that it's constantly listening for the population, which I think is good. It is tough though sometimes. One of the challenges I think with AO is that it is linked to kills. You have to kill somebody to get the benefit of AO. So at a certain point, if you're just stuck at your Warcamp and you're not getting kills, the AO really doesn't help you much because if you can't kill anybody, you can't get the renown bonus. So you have to kind of like rely on sneaking a BO or running a box in or stuff like that. I've seen some pretty insane box turn-ins of like people getting like over 1,000 renown for a box at 400%. So I won't knock it for the people that really enjoy that. Like good for you. Like get that renown, earn it.
Fun boxes, people.
Like it's tough sometimes when you have big AO to make the most of it. Like for sure, and that's a challenge that I think has always existed within the game. We're kind of experimenting going forward with this new King of the Hill event, which Hasn't happened yet, and I will caveat at least and say I'm really excited to see it, but I'm sure we'll have some. We'll either need to make it a little bit stronger or a little bit weaker. We'll see. If we hit the bullseye perfectly on the first try, I'll be amazed. But we'll see, right? We'll see how it goes, and we'll listen to the players and go, all right, is it fun? Is the timer, is 10 minutes too long? Is it too short? Is the power good enough? Is it too weak? And kind of make some adjustments to hopefully make something that's really fun, so that even if you're outnumbered a lot, like we don't expect, by the way, that when it's like 120% AO, you're probably going to die when you do King of the Hill. You're probably dead with that much AO, especially during like the European times when 120% means a whole lot more enemies than it does during, like Oceanic times. But we hope that at least with the King of the Hill buff, you will be able to get kills, like get guaranteed kills, because you're doing so much more damage. You're taking less damage, you're doing more healing. We're hoping it'll at least make it so you might die, but I really hope you get to take a whole bunch of them with you. It's kind of the thought behind it.
I am super excited. I want to see it. I can't wait to see it. I'd love to be a king squig.
You get very big. Yeah, it's very similar to like the City Champions in terms of its thought process and design on it.
I love it. Shifting gears a little bit, what has been your most memorable RVR moment for you personally?
Oh, don't ask me this. Oh no.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this one.
This is tough, man. RVR is super
I guess
fun.
it doesn't have to be just one. Do you have a nice RVR moment story?
It was
for
probably
us?
when Serj killed you out in the lakes, wasn't it?
That's never happened. I've tried so many times.
You got very close to it because I think you messaged me on Discord. It was in Calidor that I think you messaged me, and I think you were like, gotcha. I think we did die eventually to you guys.
Okay.
It was a lot of you, but still, you got me, I think.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, see. Probably, okay, I got it. My favorite one recently was, it was in Cadron Valley in the last week or two, and I think it was like 80% AO. And normally with that much AO, people are going like, yep, third floor, the keep is lost, go to the third floor, this is over, let's go. And this was a rare case of the pug, it was, I think, our guild and one pug warband, and maybe an overflow of like 6 people. So not a lot. There's maybe like 50 order inside this keep, and there's over 100 enemy players outside. And it's right next to the Destruction Warcamp. That south keep in KV is like it is an excellent keep for destruction to hold or take. It is a terrible keep for order to attack or defend. It's very difficult for them to hold it. And we decided to do this bottom floor hold on the 80%, which is a risky play. That's tough. You're probably going to lose, right? And the pugs, to their credit, are like, okay, we will support. Half the time when you call this, the pugs are like, nope, we're going to die, so we're going to the third floor. And the moment you split your forces, it's over, right? Like, yeah, you split up, it's all over. But they agreed. They're like, we'll back you up. And I was like, bless you, pugs. Bless you, pugs. We're going to die like heroes. Let's do this. And I wasn't leading the warband. Yeah, right. Like, let's die like in glory. And so we decided we're going to try to defend bottom floor, and the wave-based combat begins, right? The inner door goes down, 2 warbands come in through the postern. We're throwing everything we can at main and at postern, like Order's just fighting tooth and nail here. And there's so many enemies that even when we kill one side or the other, the other side is getting in and they're rezzing because they have that many people. It's almost 100% AO. It's 80% at least. And the fight goes on for a full 7 minutes, and I'm just like making calls constantly, and we're moving around just like a wrecking ball through the room, killing as much as we can, but there's too many. We can't kill them all. They just keep rezzing. And so finally, after like 8 minutes, I think we finally managed to hold the room. And it is like one of the craziest 80% defenses I've seen in my life. And the pugs did like an amazing job rezzing us and rezzing people. And both sides are just dying. Both sides are getting slaughtered, right? Like every side's getting kills. Absolutely insane defense. I think it was like the kills were well over like 130, 140 kills within like 7 minutes, which is pretty high for that. Maybe it was 300, I forget. Whatever it was like 100 or hundreds of kills within a tiny amount of time. That for me was probably my biggest highlight. And we held the keep in the end. Like credit to the pugs. We held thanks to them. They were there with us. We couldn't have done it without them. So shout out to the defense team of that keep. It was a wild time.
For sure.
I bet there was
War-
quite a few upset Destro
I bet.
people
Oh
after
my
that.
God.
I can only imagine the
I
general
can't
chat.
imagine. Yeah,
Like,
war is
credit to them,
eternal.
They tried. They did a good job. They did a very good job pushing. I mean, it wasn't like they were all pugs. They, they're organizing. They're getting on Discord, which I think is awesome. Kudos for that. They did a great job trying to push it. We held it, but barely. It's one of those, like, we barely survived, and those are the best fights, I think.
I think everybody that was there probably enjoyed that.
I hope so. I hope they had a good time too. They certainly got kills. Like, Destruction certainly got a lot of kills. We just managed to res a bit faster, is all it was. We had that, the keep advantage of being able to be inside that room helped us a lot too. And having oil, to help for 30 seconds of time also helps a lot, So it was good. It was a very good fight on both sides.
Yeah, it's those moments that really keep you coming back to playing this game.
So good.
It gets the adrenaline going.
I felt like I was there, just listening.
He's a good storyteller. We need to have Ruby on here more often. Campfire Stories, a new podcast on Wednesdays.
Uh-oh.
I feel like you were there. So some of these times I don't know if you're actually there or not. So I feel like you probably were in some of these stories.
I mean, it feels like I was.
What's something that Realm vs. Realm players think they want? Either a change or an update or something removed, but it would actually hurt the game.
Oh man, okay. Lockouts.
Uh-oh.
Lockouts is the answer.
You know what? I would agree with
There's
that.
been a lot of talk about lockouts. A lot of talk
and-
about lockouts lately.
And we're kind of trying it, right? We are flexing in this new system. We're going, like, because a lot of people for years have gone, you know what? Don't lock us out. Players will balance the game themselves. Players will balance it naturally. The guilds will handle it. The guilds will balance the game.
They won't.
And there's a lot of people were saying, we'll balance it. Let us do it. And this new lockout system is essentially going, cool, put your money where your mouth is. Here you go. You can do it. You just won't get anything for it. You're not going to get, renown or crests, but you can, if you said you'll balance the game for the sake of balance, here's your chance to prove us wrong when we didn't believe you on that. Here you go. Here's the chance to do it. And there's a lot of people that go, like, just let us play whichever side without any penalty, without any restriction. Trust us, it'll be fine. I don't think that's true, though. I think a lot of players think they want that freedom, but the end result of it, I believe personally, is going to be one side steamrolls the other and continues to steamroll, and no one goes to help the underdog, and they just all dogpile the winning side. That is what I think kind of will happen, and we're already kind of seeing, at least what I've seen personally, I'm seeing a bit of that already with the new system as we're testing it, right? So, and you might argue too, though, that's because it doesn't remove it currently for swapping to the underdog side. Like, what if you didn't get the renown reduction or the crest prevention? What if you played with AO, you could keep those? What if you got to get renown and crest as long as you went to the underdog side? That might change it, right? So there are some things that maybe we could try that would have the impact we want. I think for most players, they go, give us full freedom. And I'm like, no, the players are not quite as genuine in this way or as willing to balance as I think some people want to believe. But some
You
are,
heard him,
and
guys.
full credit
I
to
don't
those that
trust
are.
you.
I believe that players want to win. They don't care what the
Yes.
rewards are. They want to win.
Yeah.
But now following this train of thought, what if there was a reward for switching to the underdog side?
Yes, like
I
that,
mean,
that
that's
I like
that's-
personally.
I don't know how you would implement it. That's your problem to figure out because I'm not a developer.
Well,
But,
it could be as simple as what if the lockout system that we have that prevents you from getting renown and crest, what if that just didn't activate as long as you had AO, right? So it'd be like, cool, play on the AO side and you never get penalized would essentially be what that kind of
I see what you're saying. Okay.
That I feel like is maybe worth trying. I don't know if it would work, but it could be interesting to try that and see
So
what
you
impact it
Only
has.
get penalized if the side you're switching to has the numbers advantage.
Has apathy or isn't outnumbered. It's like, if they're not outnumbered, you would get penalized. If they are outnumbered, it would say, cool, here you go. Like you're good.
I like it.
fun.
I like it. You just have to be first to switch, because if you're that last guy,
If everyone switches, if the AO disappears, then you're back to like not getting the bonuses for
oh
whatever
well,
your
back
timer
to
remaining
Destro.
is. Maybe, who knows? Or commit and just wait the timer out at that point. Who
Yep.
knows how much time you got left?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be an interesting test.
So, what do you think has kept Return of Reckoning alive this long? And what's been the biggest threat to the project?
Another good question. Okay. I think the thing that has kept this game going is a hybrid of it's this mix of two things. The first and perhaps one of the most important are the players. The game would not exist. The players are like the lifeblood of this game. A lot of us play it for the PvP. If there's nobody to fight, there is no game, right? So I think it's great that the players have stuck around. A lot of people have been in this game for so long. So if that's you, if you've been around it for years, thank you. Thanks for sticking around and continuing to play and fight and do whatever, PvE content or sitting in Altdorf with your pets. Like there's one guy that I just see sitting in Altdorf. He just always has a pet out, and I always say, "Hi, hello, good to see you." That person's been playing this game for like 5 years at least. And I see them with their hound dog out, and it's the same person. I always know it's the same person. I go, "Hello." That I think those little things like really add lives. Players keep the game going. Players are the blood of the game. At the same time, the other half of it, I think, are the developers and the people that are willing to commit their time, and not just devs, but like it's the people that are making new content. It's the artists that are doing an amazing job creating those new capes you see in every live event, or the new skins you see in the live events. Huge shout out to the artists. They do an amazing job, I think, dedicating a lot of their time and effort to it. It's the coders that are changing all the code so that we can do new things like the dungeon. We couldn't do half the stuff we do in dungeons if the coders hadn't taken the time to go in and be like, we're gonna build this system for you so you can do this cool thing. And we go, oh, thank you, finally we have it. But that's a lot of time, So I think it's this hybrid of all of the different developers working together and all of the players. And that is kind of what keeps Return of Reckoning going. That's what keeps it alive and keeps it fresh and fun for everybody. The biggest.
Yes, thank you for resetting the servers when they need reset.
Thank you, Max. We love you and appreciate you.
No, I mean I could name you like 30 people right now that are all like crucial to the server going. Like, so a huge thank you to everyone that is both playing the game and is involved with or donating their time to keep it alive. Voice actors, more recently, right? Anyway, I don't want to get in the list because I'm gonna miss somebody and I'll feel bad about missing it. So I'll just say,
we're gonna put you on the spot in a minute here.
Oh no! Don't do it. Don't do that. Biggest threat. I think the biggest threat is always like apathy or not caring. The moment that people don't have a reason to play the game or don't want to play the game, or I think that is probably the biggest threat that comes to mind, and that's always something that we try to fight against, to add new things and new live events and new random events and things that you haven't seen before, that even 12 years after this game officially shut down, there are still new things arriving in this quote dead MMO that a fan team is keeping alive and that fans of the game are keeping alive with them. And I think that is such a cool and unique story and is so rare to find. So that I think is the biggest challenge and the biggest threat, but also how we're working to fight it and keep the game going.
So what I'm hearing is the biggest challenge, the biggest threat, and the thing that keeps this game going is the community, the players that are involved. So the lifeblood of an MMO is the players that keep coming back, but also the new players that come to the game to try it out for the first time. Whether they like it or not is not the point, but how do you get new players interested? How do you get new players to come in? Because fighting against the same 300 people every year is awesome because we know each other, we love each other, it's a great game, but you still need an influx of new players. So
yes,
what do we do to reach those people that want to try it out? How do we get them to try it out?
this is something that I have spent a lot of time trying to help with, and build systems to help with. But this is something that all of us, I think, if you're playing this game and you are listening to this, you can help too. Like every one of us can help. You can help in little ways, like when someone goes, "Hey, I'm new. How do I get to this place? How do I get to the inevitable city? Or how do I get to Altdorf?" And someone in advice chat goes, "Oh, that's easy. Let me help you. Let me help you out." Or someone goes, "I'm new. I don't have money. I can't afford to fly. Can someone help me? Can you show me how to get to someplace?" And that player that goes, "I'll be there. I'll help you. Where are you? Let me add you to my party. Let me show you exactly how to do this." Right? They take 30 minutes and they just help this person learn all these little things. Right? It's little things, but man, it goes such a long way. I think that sort of positivity and that support. You never know which one of these new players that you are helping right now is going to go on to be this crazy warband leader someday that is uniting your faction or helping your faction win. You never know. There's always a chance. Or maybe they're going to become a guild leader someday and create a guild that unites a lot of people and that a lot of people are very happy with. Little things go a huge way. And I remember even a story when I first started. There was this guy, and he would be in trade chat, and he would link this trash item called manly beards. And he would say, "I'm buying manly beards, 1 gold for every manly beard you have. The only caveat is don't ask questions about what I'm doing with them." I was like, well, I really need money for this mount. Where do I get manly beards? And so I start like figuring out which trash mobs drop manly beards, right? I'm like, okay, high pass. There's these human mobs in high pass that drop manly beards. Perfect. I'm gonna go take my buddies. We're gonna go out to high pass. We're just gonna farm manly beards, and I'm gonna see if this guy's legit. We're gonna get like 100 manly beards, and I'm gonna see if he pays us. And to his credit, he did, and he paid us all the
Awesome.
money, and we used that to fund mounts. Like early
That's
Jempire got their mounts through manly beards. All right, there's the deep lore that no one knows.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
and I
I love it.
I've forgotten the guy's name, but I still remember the guy to this day. And so, like, shout out whoever you were. Thank you very much for being weird, but also really cool about that stuff. It's little things have a big impact, right? And I remember that 7, 8 years later, right? Even now, I remember how cool that person was. And I think we can all do a lot to try to be that person for the next generation and to pass that on in some way, like help the new players, teach the new players. Having that player retention is huge for this game, because once you're here and you see how cool it is, you're here for a long time. A lot of us stick around for a long time,
Right, yeah.
and there's a reason for that. And I think it's really neat that we can all help in the same way for the new players of the next generation.
It goes back to the last podcast that we had. Community in this game is very, very close knit and a very good community, and that's really what keeps us coming back. So I think
100%,
we should have had
100%.
Ruby on our last podcast about community.
Should have had him on all the podcasts. This has been great. This has gone
I
way
love it.
longer than any of our podcasts.
It has.
People have tuned out
Hopefully not.
an hour ago.
All right, one more
I love
question.
it.
One more question, Ruby. What
Sure.
excites you the most about the future of Return of Reckoning?
Oh, you asked. Okay, this might be the hardest question, actually.
That's why we saved
Is
it for
cool?
last.
Is it cool if I give you like a few things? Does it have to be one thing, or can I give you a few?
No, you go ahead.
Oh no,
This
give us
is-
all the things.
Give us everything. 50 things.
Oh, okay, never mind. No, then it's an easy one. Okay, cool. Okay, PvE in Return of Reckoning. I'll start with this because I'm biased about this because it's what I get to work on.
Nah.
PvE is better right now than it, I think, has ever been in Return of Reckoning. It is arguably better than it ever was on the original version of the game, and it's only getting better. And I think that is really exciting for people that enjoy the PvE or enjoy dungeons or enjoy exploring the world. We have been spending a lot of time, and it's only a few of us, because it's not the whole team doing it, but a few of us are really putting a lot of time into making it better. And I hope that people that enjoy that will come try the game out and experience it and try the dungeons and let us know what you think, because we are not only making it better, but we're listening and trying to actively listen to keep making it better as we go forward. So there's that. All right, that's part one. Part two, we have a lot of new stuff in Land of the Dead that we will be working on very soon once the Tier 3 dungeon is done. And I'm super excited for people to see things like Tomb of the Vulture Lord or Tyrant Gear or the PQ, like just seeing Land of the Dead, just being able to go around in Land of the Dead and do the PQs or maybe attack other players or hunt other players, right?
People ask about Tovel all the time.
Right, it's cool. We were looking at it just a few weeks ago and running through it. I was running through it with Eka, and we're looking at like some of the boss rooms and going like, all right, how are we going to rebuild? How do we like stay true to Mythic's vision for this, and how do we make it even better than Mythic's version, right? So there's been those discussions are already starting and already beginning to happen. We're still a ways out on Tovel, and we're doing Tier 3 first, but I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with that in the future. I'm excited for RVR. I mean, RVR is finally getting some new stuff, and I'm really excited to see King of the Hill and to see some of the random events that the RVR team has been working on and putting time in to make those happen. There's an amazing thread of ideas from players on our suggestions forum that the team is looking at and going, okay. And some of those, you never know. Some of those things might show up someday, but we're probably still a little ways away from a lot of that stuff in the future. But King of the Hill is a really good starting point, I think, to see how it works. And we're trying the lockout system now. So I think that's exciting too, and kind of seeing what can happen with that in the future. That's a pretty significant change. Oh, what else? I mean, the scenario team is also working really hard on scenarios. I think scenarios are at this really interesting moment where if they work hard and if the players are there with them and giving them good feedback and they listen to the feedback, I really do think scenarios could pivot in a really great direction in the 6 months to year to come. I really think we might see some cool stuff on that, but I don't want to put pressure on them. There's a new group of people working on scenarios. I don't want to put pressure on them, but I really think they could do some great stuff with scenarios if they keep listening to their focus group and the players in the future. And so that gives us this great kind of like mix of PvE, dungeons, open world, RVR, scenarios. Everything has the potential to go in a really good direction, and I think we have a lot of really good people working on it on each team. So I'll end with that by saying I've kind of never been more excited for the future of the game, but I'm biased because I get to see behind the curtain a little bit, and so I get to see the people that are working on it go, okay, this could work. You could really do some cool stuff here. I'm excited to see what will happen in the future. And voice acting as well. And also the team is still recruiting. So people that want to contribute or want to help, the door is very much open, and we're always excited to hear from people and try to bring people in, because it's just time. It's just everything that we do comes down to how much time we have to donate and dedicate. And so with more people and the right structure, we can do even more faster someday. And I'm just stoked. I'm very excited to see what can happen as we go through the next 6 months or next year. There we go. There's your answer.
I'm excited too. Our guild leader, Tally, has applied to be part of the team. So, maybe you could look out for that.
As long as she doesn't nerf Marauders again, I'm all for it.
She nerfed Mara?
Inside joke.
It's an inside joke with GW.
I didn't even know how she did it. I was just impressed, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Oh man. So thanks a lot, Ruby. That was an awesome conversation. Again, huge thanks to Ruby for coming on, taking the time to give us that behind the scenes look at PvE development, world building, and what really goes into shaping the experience we all play every day. Before we end it, we haven't done this in a while. Putting Ruby on the spot.
Putting him on the spot.
Who is your person or player in the past week, or just in your life in general, someone that you want to appreciate, give a shout out to?
Player of the week, in your life. Player of the month, player of the year, player of the server.
Oh no! Oh, what are you doing? You are putting me on the spot.
Yes, sir.
So here's the trap in this. Whatever name I give you, there's immediately a whole bunch of other people that are like, "Wow, I'm just not good enough, huh? It's not me, huh, Ruby?"
Well, it doesn't. Okay. So I gave you the option. It doesn't have to be a player. It could just be someone in your life that has really lifted you up, or help
I
make
like
you
it.
who you are
I like it.
today, because
He's
I love
giving
who
you
you
an
are,
out.
Ruby.
He's giving you an
It's
out.
very
We
kind.
normally do
He's
player of
he's-
the week, but you are in a different position because of your leadership and the fact that you're on the dev team. So
This one is tough. All right, I could give you some answers for these. There will be some people that I feel like I will. They're like, wow, thanks for not picking me, man.
I already have a
okay,
tear
okay.
rolling down my eye because I know it's not me.
I'm gonna go make a forum post right now that it's not me.
An angry forum thread. Here we go. I think we
It's
snuck
gonna be
under
the
Lost
biggest
Mailbox.
one over the next week.
He didn't
Okay.
love me.
Probably the person, the one, if it has to be one person, the person that I have spent a lot of time working very closely with, and I got it. I'm going to pay this one forward because a lot of stuff has only happened in both on the development side, and one of the reasons that I stuck around with the game as long as I have is because there was a person that kind of saw stuff that I was doing and encouraged me to join the team and be more involved with the team and to dedicate some of that time. And so I think the person that I will pay it forward here to and say a big thank you to is going to be Echoline. Is his name. He's the guy that you joked that I should maybe go to ESO and marry. He's in terms of like work husband. He's probably my one of my partners in crime on a lot of stuff that we do. There are a number of other amazing devs that I work with on a daily basis, but Eka was the guy that both that brought me onto the team, and I guess I'll say thank you for that, but also that I still argue with on a daily basis. I guess just like a married couple would. So maybe in that sense, that's probably a pretty fair comparison. But I'll say thank you in this case to Eka for he played the live server. We actually played on the same server together on Gorfang for all of our veterans. If anyone else, any other Gorfang vets out there, we played together originally on that. I had no idea. We were in a meeting once about maybe being allies. We didn't become allies at the time. It almost happened. So finally we have become friends here, and I really appreciate Eka. And he's the guy that built the Dwarf and Greenskin cities, by the way. He did a huge amount of effort on those cities. He's one of the key architects of those cities and the quests inside of them and the design of them. And so I'll give a big shout out to Eka and a lot of the work that he has done here in the game, and thank you. Thanks, Eka. It's been an honor. It's been very good to work with you over the last 4 years.
Awesome, man.
1 second here. I'm typing.
I love it.
Ruby didn't choose me.
Rubius, that son of a.
Oh man, I love it, man. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channels, drop a comment below. We read all of them, and it helps more ROR players find the show, and it helps other people find ROR. And we want to hear from you. What do you think about the future of PvE and Return of Reckoning? What do you want to see added or changed in the future?
Yeah, as always, we appreciate you being here. We'll catch you on the next one. Break the meta, play for fun, and make the game better for the people around you.
Later, guys.